what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sensibly Cynical podcast. Today's episode is the best of the year that was 2023. So to set this up, I have clips from 8 episodes. Funny, serious, sports talk. Got it all here on this episode. I will play a clip from Julia Baker, February 26th, and then subsequently I will introduce each clip until the end. So that's basically it. But before I get to the best of 2023 special, let me get the advertisements out of the way. You can check Sensibly Cynical wherever you get your podcasts. Twitter or X is at Cynical Sensibly. Instagram is Sensibly Cynical Pod. Check out the Facebook page. Bonfire has the merch. Thinking about having new designs of the shirts, so let me know what you think. If you have any ideas, email me, sensiblycynicalpodcast@gmail.com. YouTube, building that up. Subscribe on YouTube would be awesome. It is January 6th, so I think I can still say Happy New Year. Hope everyone is doing well. Now, here's a clip from my interview with model Julia Baker out of San Diego, California. Enjoy, everybody. What have you been doing lately?
Yeah, so since I came to San Diego, at first I ended up actually taking a break, and people were confused because they were like, didn't you go out to California to model? And I was like, not really. I kind of just came here, but
yeah, but did you also model in New York though?
Yeah, in Boston, East Coast.
That's what I thought. I thought when I went on your website, I thought I saw New York, but
yeah, I've kind of been around. I mean, East Coast, West Coast, pretty much. But I didn't move to LA. I moved to San Diego. So I kind of came to San Diego and was like, I'm gonna just chill. I still did want to model, and but I ended up getting this job at a restaurant, and I can't say too much about that job because I don't work there anymore.
Confidentiality agreements.
Yeah.
Liability concerns, all the buzzwords. Yeah.
I mean, as much as that would be an excellent story, I'm only
you're giving this podcast too much credit. Okay. Yeah. I don't think that no one's gonna, not you, but I'm talking about dive into my podcast. They're gonna be like, well, it's just some random podcast. We don't care.
Yeah.
But I understand.
I'm only allowed to say positive things about that restaurant.
But you know what I'm saying? People make a big deal about height. I don't see it that big of a deal. Either you can model or you can't. Either, you can be a good person in a relationship or you can't.
It's so true.
What's your thoughts on this whole height thing? Do you think it's overrated? People make too big of a deal about it?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, it's not a huge deal when you're doing commercial work or print work because you can't really tell somebody's height. So, I mean, that's kind of the work that's paying better anyway. The height really comes down to the runway.
That's a good point.
I can see why everybody wants to be around the same height on the runway, but I don't understand why they have to be so tall.
All right, this next clip is from my interview with Years Down, a band out of Denver, Colorado. Very humble group, down to earth. This was a fun chat. They talk about how they started in the music industry, influences, and much more. So this is Years Down, March 6th. Okay, I got 3 bands here that when I was listening to music, I saw hints of all 3 of these. We'll see if you agree or disagree, okay? You can show me up and say, what the hell is this guy talking about? We don't sound anything like these people. All right, so the first one, My Chemical Romance. Would you agree there's hints of them in your music? No? The second,
I'm the outlier just because I fucking don't like them, man. These guys do.
Okay, so the second one is Good Charlotte. I definitely hear Good Charlotte in you guys. That's definitely there. And then Green Day. But the only reason why I say My Chemical Romance is because you have that when you go when the drummer goes really hard, it sounds just like the My Chemical Romance sped up. That's all I mean. I don't mean the vocals. I meant the hard stuff is very similar.
Nice. We'll take it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, My Chemical Romance is one of those polarizing bands. You know what I mean?
They're great. He doesn't know
Stop
what he's
talking.
Yeah.
I would say yeah, definitely. I think we all agree.
They're a hot topic for some reason. What about them is like?
Like where we got our jingle or our trick jingle.
Well, I hope I didn't offend you guys and making you regret taking this interview by bringing them up.
We're having fun.
So fun.
All right, so talk about influences. Ben as the drummer, like you have a top drummer of all time?
I mean, before I got into pop punk, I was kind of a metalhead, so I listened to like a lot of Slipknot and Disturbed. So Joy Jordison, he was definitely influenced me. And then when I got into pop punk, obviously Travis Barker,
Blink-182 was basically the catalyst to a lot of the sound we have now. So yeah, I can remember when Travis Barker started fucking around on like rap beats. Yeah, like Soulja Boy, like that. When I was
that
in high
album.
school.
Holy shit!
That was when I was kind of like, all right, this is
Let the drummer get
yeah.
some. That's what it was called. Let
Yeah,
the drummer get some.
I would say that's
like one of my favorite bands, Linkin Park, started to get with Jay-Z and stuff like that. That rock has a history with rap music, like as far as collaborations that I didn't really know too much about until like all of a sudden it seemed out of nowhere for me. Like, wait a minute, what? Like, it doesn't. Do you think that's like a seamless like parallels, or do you think it's kind of like a newer thing?
We'll let Rob take this because he wants to leave us for an emo rap band.
Like, do you think there's parallels in rap and rock? I guess that's a no.
No, there is.
No, yeah.
You're a good person to answer this.
Why is that? I guess so. Yeah, I think there is in like all genres of music. I mean, you can experiment, and I don't know. I think what he's doing now, it's kind of super helpful to like the direction of pop punk. Even though I don't like a lot of it, but I think these crossovers with rap artists and stuff, it's kind of helped the pop punk genre get more to the mainstream. So I think so.
Yeah, I think rap and rock can go together like peanut butter and jelly a little bit.
Yeah. Like carrots and peas.
Yeah.
Hot Cheetos.
Well,
we have Nothing Nowhere. There's like NF. There's a few.
Crystalline Meadow, a singer-songwriter out of Nashville, Tennessee, stopped by the podcast mid-tour. That's right. She called in from her bus. Very busy, so I appreciated her taking time out of her schedule to come on the podcast. She talks about life on the road, what she's got coming up, and much more. So this clip is from April 23rd. What's it about, like, country music that kind of resonated with you, like that type of music?
Telling a story is what resonated with me. I grew up dancing and also doing like plays, acting and singing, and I kind of had to pick one. And I felt like singing kind of incorporates it all because I move around a lot on stage. I'm moving, I'm dancing. But I'm telling a story. I'm acting through songs too. So it's like singing, kind of like country music in particular, kind of brings that all together for me. So that's kind of why I chose it. Like when I was around 12 or 13, I was doing my first couple of, I probably started singing lessons around 9, but when I started really honing in on singing lessons and taking it really seriously, my vocal coach was like, what genre do you want to do? Like, if you want to be an artist, like what genre? And I'm like, I got to think on that. It kind of wasn't, to be honest, thinking about country first, just because I grew up in Nashville, which is not really, like most people move to Nashville to do music, but I grew up there. So it wasn't first on my list. So I was kind of singing like Kelly Clarkson and pop stuff in my vocal lessons. And then once I sat and really thought about it, I was like, country music tells a story. And that's what I love doing. I love telling stories. Like, let's try that out. And so I started bringing country songs to my lessons. And I was like, I think I'm falling in love with country music. I grew up around it, but I never, I felt like I heard it so much that I got sick of it for a minute.
That makes sense.
But then when I revisited it, I realized that I realized that that's what I wanted to do. Carrie Underwood is my big inspiration that I've always looked up to since I was a little girl. I saw her live like a month ago. Oh my gosh, she's an alien. Like, she is superhuman. I've never seen a better live performance than her. She is she's also my role model in like life too. Like, she's a Christian like I am. She lives her life in a way that like she shares her faith with people, and I love that, and I want to do that too. And also I love just the way she carries herself. She is just classy. She's classy. So love her. Also, Miranda Lambert's a big influence on songwriting. I love her songwriting. I dig her as well as an artist. And also the Randy Rogers Band has been a big influence for me. They're Texas country, and that's almost like a whole other genre. I actually got to open for them a couple weeks ago, and that was
that's awesome.
Dream, an absolute dream. And I kind of have to tell. I haven't said anything about this, but I guess I can give you some more juicy stuff if you want to know. I mean, it's not juicy, cool.
Hey, whatever you want to say it. I don't care.
Oh, I feel like a lot of people are going to want to listen to this because I'm spilling a lot of stuff. So actually, it was so cool, obviously, to open for my hero, but then I did get a chance to meet them. The fiddle player invited us up to the bus, and basically I was like, this isn't real. It was so cool. And shout out to their whole team. They are all awesome. And it was so awesome to get to sit and talk to one of my heroes. So really cool experience to get to open for them and then hang out with them for a little bit. So anyways, yeah, Randy Rogers, like the production of their music and the utility, like instruments like fiddle, banjo and stuff in their music has been a big influence on my music. You hear a lot of utility in my music as well. So
in June, another model stopped by the podcast, Stormy Williams out of Virginia. She talks about the modeling lifestyle, what type of shoots she does, and another chill person. You will enjoy this. June 6th. What kind of modeling do you do? Like, as far as type of shoots?
More fashion. I do a little bit of everything. I have done lingerie, I've done swimsuit, but I try not to dabble into that too much because I don't want to just be stuck there. And that's not how I started out. So
what you mean by stuck is in like the only traction you'll get is from that sort of stuff?
Yes. Or not being taken seriously in other parts of the fashion industry as far as like high fashion.
Because you want to have a portfolio that's kind of broad, not just.
Yeah, and for me, I have made it where I can do all of those things, and it's not, people aren't confused and like, why are you doing this now? Why are you doing that? It's all like, wow, like Stormy, dang, you're doing another thing you're doing. I have set my personal career up that way. But you can kind of get stuck there because you'll make that money fast, more so quicker. It's a little easier just to kind of like, you want to just do this, concept wise. So that's the only thing about that.
How much
wise,
of it,
as far as photographers, I've been fine, but I know it's very much a high percentage. But then I kind of like, I'm good.
How much of it is clout driven? Like people trying to, get cred for stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like not that they're fake, but they do stuff for clout.
It's more so based on that. Yeah. I think that's what this anything now. It's not even just percentage wise. With just this industry, I mean, I guess it's high. I guess you could say in the 90%.
We don't have to give numbers the whole episode.
Oh no, I know. I'm just saying like no, I know. I'm just saying like in general, that's just how everybody is now. So I don't know if it's, it's a big deal here, but it's like, that's with every part of entertainment. That's with just the internet alone. You could be a regular person, just somebody's going to try to do something to get views, get pointers, get points and stuff. So in college, I wasn't going to ODU, Old Dominion University down here.
I know exactly where that is.
Yeah. So I wasn't going there, but like after college, like after high school, some of my friends started to go there. I was still like up here in Richmond. So I would go down there and travel or whatever all the time. Bring my homegirls down there. My best friend was a guy. So like we would like I would go down there, see him and stuff. But it'd be all of us. It was like some of the people I went to school with, a lot of them went there too. And it would just be a whole thing of us, but I'll bring my homegirls and stuff. So we went down there, and at this time, when I first went there, it was so amazing. It was their homecoming. And that's when J. Cole and Big Sean had just come out, or were kind of out for a minute, but they were still like new. It was still like their first album.
Right, they were new on the scene. Yeah.
Yeah, so like they were performing there for homecoming. So that's like the major reason I went down there. I still am in love with J. Cole. So like I was so like, oh my gosh, all that stuff. Oh girl. So but at this time I was also talking to somebody that happened to go to the same school. And I think I met them like in Richmond one time at like a club or something. I clubbed a lot back then.
I did too.
Right. Good times.
Pot kettle, yeah.
So me and this guy, we had hung out, sum it up, homecoming, go to the concert. Afterwards, the whole campus just turned up, right? So I'm hanging out with this dude because I leave my friends. I go with him and stuff. And we're going around like the campus, all these different parties, Get back to the dorm. He has a roommate, okay? We're being grown, right? Trying to be. So I thought, and mind you, I'm lit, I'm turned up, but I just knew like I was sexy, right? So
you were in your 20s, right?
No, like then I graduated high school at 17, so then I was like 18 something. I probably shouldn't have been drinking, but I was drinking.
Okay. Okay. I didn't mean to shed a spotlight on that.
Oh, I don't care. I'm legal now. So I try to be cute and all that stuff, sexy. So I'm crawling, mind you, the roommate is asleep. They have the same room, of course, 2 different beds. We got back late, it's dark as shit. Roommate sleep. The only thing that's separating their beds is like the dresser, little nightstand, right? I'm sexy. I'm crawling up the bed and stuff like that. I fall, hit the dresser, the nightstand.
Yeah.
They knocked the fucking lamp over and every goddamn thing. Like I never made it to him. Roommate tried to protect.
You tried.
I tried, right? And I just knew, I had to look at everything. And I busted my ass. It was so like at that moment I was laughing, but I was more embarrassed than like of course now years later. And he just he could not stop laughing. So this whole time the roommate is still asleep.
Yeah.
Sleep. So the next morning, he let me still stay there. It was funny. The next morning, the roommate leaves out for breakfast and stuff, and never talks about it. And he definitely says something to him later on after I had left.
Sworn to secrecy.
So to this day, he'll still bring it up.
That's funny. That is funny.
But we're such good friends now. But it's hilarious.
That was worth the wait. That was worth that story was worth the wait.
Oh my gosh! On one hand, I wish people could have been there because it's it was the most embarrassing thing ever.
That is pretty good. That's pretty good. On July 8th, singer-songwriter and producer Grimsley stopped by. He talks about his career, band Atrial, new music, including Smile, and much more. So, yeah, let's get to it. Grimsley. What's the vibe that you think drew to people? You know what I mean?
Well, with Smile, I think at this point it's kind of maybe I'm just getting a return on my investment.
Is it the electro pop vibes? Is it the rock vibes?
I think it's more of the rock vibes. I think it's like my sound has a nostalgic feel, I guess, a bit to it, but also I think it incorporates a lot of new stuff. And Smile just kind of, I don't know, just kind of engulfs the sound of Grimsley is what I'm going to call it. It's kind of melancholy yet hopeful, and also just relatable lyrics to an extent, I think, kind of.
Yeah.
Some of them are pretty exclusive to me, but yeah.
Yeah, do you think of me when essentially shit hits the fan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That sort of stuff. Talk about the background of that, man. How did it start?
That song it's been in in the pot for a while, but I mean that was just another one of those, relationship songs. I have it like that and Miss Reaper are the two that are kind of like
all right,
relationship-esque. Yeah.
All right, I trust you. You're not the Taylor Swift of rock music, are you?
No, definitely
I'm kidding.
not.
I'm kidding.
Not.
Shout out to Tay-Tay. She's killing it. She's killing it.
Yeah. But I don't know, it's just kind of like just wrote about how I felt, and that's just what happened. It's really cringy to talk about that, like why why I wrote it and everything. But yeah, I just had a relationship that was kind of a relationship that was weird, and pretty much I just wrote about them, and here we are.
I hear you. Life in South Carolina, how was it? Like humble beginnings? Did you talk about that, man?
Well, I mean, I lived my first 24 years of life there, and I got all the good out of that I could. I love it there. I do. I think it's a really slow.
What part?
It's called Hartsville, South Carolina. Okay. It's a small little town. It's got like 5,000 people. During COVID, like there were no shows going on at all. We were, it sucked, but everybody wanted to play. And there was this place called the Melon Barn in Greenville, and it's literally a barn. But it was like a little rundown. It was like a kind of like, hey, keep it to yourself about this venue type of thing.
Yeah.
And we went out there.
I've been to a few of those.
Yeah. And we ended up having one of the most insane like sets of our life. Not because like we played great, but because it was like a few hundred kids came out, not really just for us, but for all these other, just to get out. And the whole building was shaking. Like there isn't a video on our Instagram somewhere of just the people were swinging from the rafters. People were falling onto the stage, but damn, was I having fun. It's stuff like that. It's just like, I don't know, that's locked in the memory bank forever. I've only seen a few DJ sets, I guess, and they've always been a good time.
Yeah,
but I prefer.
What kind of EDM are we talking about? Like Skrillex or Marshmello, or that's the mainstream kind of stuff? Or are we talking about like the underground kind of stuff?
It wasn't really underground stuff. I'm not really ashamed to admit it. I had a hardcore Chainsmokers phase. It's kind of like lame to say that out loud.
I like Closer. Oh, yeah, that's a good song.
It came out like when I was in college, and that song hit like no other. Like it was just
it hit like a certain substance.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But it was so good, and I just started following them from there, and I was like, these guys are really good. And I tried to make electronic music for a while back in the day, and I sucked at it. Yeah, but the reason I sucked at it isn't because of any other reason other than I guess I wasn't really passionate about it.
Author and podcaster Jonice Jackson joined me in July to talk about her show, The Real Life of Joe. It's available on her website, thereallifeofjoe.com, Apple Podcasts, and of course on YouTube. It's a show where she reviews music, albums, EPs from artists throughout the entire industry. She talks about how she built her YouTube channel and more. All right, this is a clip from that episode, July 12th.
What I'm hoping for the music industry is for it to be not as watered down as it is. So from the artists that I've been listening to on my show anyway, I love how a lot of people are finding their own sound and their own way to get their message across instead of being so cookie cutter now. So I am enjoying that transition in the music. So
yeah. We'll talk about when you opened the channel or started.
So it was about 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I originally had started like doing like music reviews, and like I've always followed like underground artists and things, because whatever city I live in at the time, I go to open mics and talent showcases, and I connect with all these artists. But I started back about 5 years ago, 20 has to be 2019. I think it was 2019.
So like just
Ohio,
like right during the pandemic.
Yeah, yes, that's when the actual music reviews started. Right when the pandemic happened. And I had to take a break for a while, but I just started getting back into it back in April.
Now let's dive more into the channel.
Okay.
Over 3,000 subscribers. How'd you get traction, and talk about like the
direct
background
marketing.
of that, you know? Huh?
Direct marketing. So once you add in direct marketing,
like you did,
literally,
did you do what, like you message people like you like podcasts,
yes,
like this podcast?
Individually talking to people. Like I literally set time apart to talk to people, and the more DMs and people you're talking to one-on-one, the more subscribers you end up getting. Not necessarily every single one is going to subscribe to you, but they'll share, they'll drop comments, like word of mouth.
You have a great personality, and let's be honest, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be rude to other people that try stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But would you agree that personality and entertainment value, like you can't just message somebody and then when they check out your profile, you got like,
absolutely,
garbage, or like 50 followers and shit.
Absolutely.
You have to have a, some background in entertainment or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have 10 years of customer service experience. So when you throw that in there too, it's like, you know how to deal with.
Throw it in a big pot and.
Yeah.
Yeah. So every year there is the illustrious Sensibly Cynical Halloween special. And this year is no different. Fear Innes trekked his way back onto the podcast for the 5th time. And we talked about the VHS series, the classic VHS series. Had a blast, always do when Fear comes back on. He gives his review of the whole series, keeps me on the right track. And this is awesome. So here it is. This interview / Halloween special was released actually in November 1st. Enjoy.
Yeah, it's great. It's a lot of fun. And like,
is there repeat characters?
Not that I can think of. I don't think they did any repeats.
People like Sam and Stephanie, like I was saying, and then there'll be like other names.
Yeah. It's not, and it's not like American Horror Story where it's the same cast. It's all new cast, all stories each time.
They reel you in, correct?
Yeah, usually probably by I think it's like the third or final, short story. All hell is breaking loose. Like, in the second one, the short story, it's, what the hell was it called? Let me find it real quick. But it was really freaking good. It's called Safe Haven. So, essentially, a film crew is invited to a cult compound, and they just want to find out. And when they go into the compound, they find a bunch of bizarre symbols, some school children, women dressed in white garments. They meet essentially the leader, who's called the Father.
I am your father.
Exactly. Yeah.
Luke. All we need is Luke Skywalker.
So then, at one point, the Father starts doing this speech, and he says, "Now's the time," and everybody kills themselves.
Hey, that's crazy.
And then Satan or some sort of deity appears. Like it gets really crazy.
Let's be honest, Fear, like, we're going to talk about the Saw, and then, like, there's things like that where it's like, you know what I mean? Like, not just that, but they're all basically, like, suicide missions, you know?
Yeah.
some of these things.
The last clip is from Ben Swift Reynolds, the most recent guest of Sensibly Cynical on December 17th. He is the host of Voice of the Fans Sportscast. He runs the ship over there, steers it, if you will. They have a cast of co-hosts, and they do a great job talking about mainly NFL, NBA, but any of the big sports or small sports in general. But anyways, check it out. Voice of the Fans Sportscast. This NFL. What's your thoughts on these roughing the passer calls? Was it the one step and then like all that? What's your thoughts on that, man?
It's terrible. It's ruining the game. I mean, they continue in drives where it putting defense in bad positions to tackle or make a play. Like now, when you sack a quarterback, you gotta make sure you have a pillow and a blanket to make sure he lay down gently.
And now this what the hell is this hip drop tackle? I didn't know about this. Until like last year. What is it?
The hip drop tackle. I understand people's concerns.
Well, what is it? Do you know what it is?
All right, so it's like you chasing somebody from behind and you wrap your arms around their waist. So you use your body weight as an anchor. So you drop down using your body weight. And what happens sometimes...
You can't have that. No, you can't.
and sometimes what happens is you fall on the person's heel or leg, which might cause an ACL tear.
I mean...
or something like that. Like Mark Andrews. That would happen to Mark Andrews with the hip drop tackle.
Well,
I have used the hip drop tackle before.
Here's the thing, Swift. If you take away you can't go high, you can't go low. What do you want them to do? Not everyone can go to Home Depot or whatever and get pillows.
Right. Like some good pillows at that. Comfort care type pillows.
Go top of the line.
I have used the hip drop tackle. I have never landed on people's legs before. I always landed when I dropped. I always did it on the side of them to bring them down. So I'm like, what you want me to do? You want me to just wrap up behind him?
Well, you got to think about the marketing jobs. How you gonna create the flags and
right. You can't have them too heavy.
Each flag's gonna have its own logo.
With their design, their logo and everything. Yeah, you gotta make the flags
like this.
You want to get cut from them, so you gotta cut
NBA. Yeah, like this NBA in-season tournament.
Right,
with the courts looking like Charlie, looking like Mickey Mouse, like it's a Disney.
Like they call it interior designer and hey, make this look modern.
It's like if they called my boy Bugs Bunny and told him to create the course.
They call him RuPaul. Like, hey RuPaul, design our course for us. I got you.
Just throwing shit together and
right. They're using gimmicks, man. Like the NBA has fallen off, but
all jokes aside, though, man,
I guess they gotta do what they gotta do.
Shout out to LeBron James holding it down in the in-season tournament.
Yeah, the in-season tournament champion. I can't wait for Bron Sessions to use that in the argument.
Yeah.
Oh, LeBron, he's the first ever in-season tournament champion. That's supposed to mean something. So
flopping. What was your thoughts when they implemented? I assume I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you were pro new flopping rules.
Yeah, cause there's no need for flopping. It made things hard to judge.
It's like this,
right? Like you barely touched the guy. I barely touched him. What are he doing? It's like we're not soccer guys. Y'all big.
Yeah. Get the fuck out of there with that Ronaldo crap.
Yeah, I don't need Neymar rolling. I don't even need LeBron rolling on the ground 50 times to show that he got fouled. No, be like in the 80s. Be like in the 70s. Take the charge. Take the bumps. Take the bruises and move it along.
We got places to go, people to see.
Right. I don't have time for acting. You want to go act? Go join the Actors Guild. Or something,
Yeah. And then go or don't, but never go full Draymond.
Never go full Draymond.
You can't be slapping people on the 360 turn. If you're gonna do a 360 turn, do it in your own time, like in ballet classes. But don't do it to people.
He gave him the Dave Chappelle slap. The 5 fingers to the face type slap.
Yeah, I didn't even know who Yusuf Nurkic was until last week.
He's famous now.
Who the fuck's this guy?
Hey, a fan walked up to me. Hey, ain't you the guy that got slapped by Draymond?